Right, hello, good morning, and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. As a Tuesday, the 9th day of April, 2024. By His grace, we're live and we're here. We're at another edition of the show. Our gratitude to go to Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Voters registration May 7 to 27. SAL included in exercise. GRA Commissioner General intervenes. First batch HIV drugs out Friday. As for this country, the thing called shame, we don't have it. We don't have it. Effective justice delivery strategy launched. Framework anchored on tech, speed, and transparency. Greater Accra RCC endorses GCGL, ZGL sanitation ranking. Ghanaian Times. $40 million donated drugs locked up at ports. CSO networks appeal for president's intervention. Wage at DVLE generates 8.626,620 in first quarter 2024. Chief Justice launches blueprint to transform judiciary. 9 arrested for peddling fake news about genitals disappearance. Let's unite in rejecting military takeovers. President Kufuor to African leaders. Well, if you do the right thing, people will not even think about that. Daily Guide. SHS enrollment goes high. Ghana, Guinea-Bissau to open joint commission for cooperation. GRA boss pledges deep client engagement. Let's make VIP president. Bawumia launches CJ's leading justice initiatives. The New Crusading Guide. Ghana records 504,580 SHS enrollment in 2024. Demolishes Legon property. Samira denies her involvement as businessman wails over abuse of state powers. Published load shedding timetable, ECG told. Ghana's economy is improving, Dr. Addison. Prescribe herbal medicine for treatment, Nana Nketi advocates. Gold for oil policy useful, it shouldn't be cancelled. The Insight. We won't tolerate the incessant wanton land grab anymore, Gadangbe Lands Administration tells government. Pay us our money before June 30 or we vote against you. Aggrieved customers of Kumasi Gold Coast Fund Management bear teeth at Bawumia. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. SMG mourns the death of Nigerian labor movement icon Comrade Ali Siroma. KGL Foundation brings Sister Joy to Elmina with Easter First Foot Driver. The Inquisitor. Ladies' desire for NPP running mate, clergy bribed with pilgrimage to Israel. CD dollar depreciation for first 4 months of 2024 nears 10%. Stop press. Fake polls overwhelm Bawumia on his running mate as scammers target Kesben. Afenyo Makin brings honor to Ghana. Charlog backs James' pledge to dissolve sanitation ministry. The Daily Statesman. Record growth in SHS enrollment. Report says free SHS has not compromised quality. Government to launch performance tracker tomorrow. FSIN, no way for any alliance to win December polls. BOG governor cautions against cancellation of gold for oil policy. The New Finder. Straight fight between Natoshi and Napu for running mate. Stronghold or swing region. Price floors to address unhealthy competition, NPA. Ghana, Guinea-Bissau forge stronger economic and political ties. President assents to Wildlife Management Resources Bill 2022. Daily Post. Dangerous religious card played again as Bawumia's boy repeats his call on Muslims to vote for him because he's a Muslim. Schools under trees, stop debating the number NDC removed and tell us what you have removed. Sami Jemfi to MPP. Joyce Bauer criticizes Akufo-Addo's abuse of presidential power and discretion to appoint judges. Minority calls for immediate arrest of the CEO of the Scholarship Secretariat of alleged corrupt acts. Economy Times. Trade surplus dips. NPA reverses suspension of price stabilization and recovery levy on petroleum products. Government raises cocoa farm gate price by 58%. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And with me on the show this morning is a man who's still hanging. Huh? He's still hanging. We do not know when he will land. But it's quite hopeful. Maybe his colleague here can give him some assurances about when he can land. But, so he was the CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority. And then he was nominated as Minister of Health. Just before he could go through his vetting, his successor was named, and the successor has taken office. So when you see the newspapers, anytime there's something about NHIA, it is Dr. Aboagye Da Costa. So he's no longer the CEO of the NHIA, and he's also yet to be minister. So he's hanging. There's a wall. In fact, you can describe it as a thin wall between the NHIA and the Ministry of Health. I don't know where he stands between the two walls, whether he's hanging around one of the pillars or not. I do not know, but he's still here. The transition, which is just 10 feet away, has not happened. Dr. Okuboy is the Minister of Health designate and also the MPP's parliamentary candidate for the Lajokuku constituency. The hanging Bernard. Good morning.
Anche, I will know if I am an name. Mother. Oh, yeah, 8 months for Joseph. In G1, so far in G 1 month.
Straight.
Okay, shake moment on my feet.
All right, also with us on the show this morning is a member of Parliament for the South Dai constituency. He's a legal practitioner and also a member of the Public Accounts Committee, the Honorable Roxy Nelson, Eche de Femako. Good morning.
Morning, Doc.
How are you?
Well, surviving.
So why have you left? I thought Dr. Kuba was a friend.
My dear friend.
So why have you guys still left him hanging?
It's
in fact, for the month of March, he might not receive a salary.
Well,
he's in a situation where he's neither an employee of the NHI or the Ministry of Health.
nor the head of the ministry. Anyway, I sympathize with him, but it's nothing personal.
The man has a young family.
Yes,
and for that period, because of vetting and everything, too,
I agree.
He doesn't go to the hospitals to do
I agree, but that's the collateral damage. It's not intended to affect him, but unfortunately, it's part of.
It is the origin of the injunction.
That's why I'm asking him.
So
when are you releasing him?
But first of all, let me say good morning to my people in South Dai, Peki, Palik, Tongo, and Gemini people. Oko will be released when the court says he should be released. Oko.
But I thought the court is giving Parliament the go ahead.
No. The court hasn't said anything like that.
No, I'm not saying the court has said.
Yes.
I'm just, but the implication, what I'm saying is that and I'm a non-lawyer,
yes.
So I need to be careful.
Yes.
What Parliament relied on,
yes,
to put a hold, to put the approval thing on hold, it's been taken out of the way by the courts.
No.
How?
No. So let me explain. Parliament rely on two things: the writ as filed, as well as the interlocutory. The application for the grant of interlocutory injunction. So the removal of one does not empower Parliament to proceed with the matter until the final determination.
No, this is why you are shifting the goalposts.
I'm not shifting, because you see, as part of my prayer...
It's not about your prayer. I'm not talking about your case in court. I'm talking about Parliament. We had the Speaker.
Yes.
And the Speaker tried to draw a parallel between the position of the President and then his position. Yes. And the parallel can draw really has to do with
I understood what you asked, but I'm trying to explain how it works. The writ, the matter, the substantive case is still pending. And as part of my prayer before the court is the grant of perpetual injunction. You know?
But until it's granted.
Good.
Yes.
Good. So until it's granted, status quo ante must be maintained.
No.
No?
No.
No?
The status.
I am happy you say you are not a lawyer.
Yes.
So
I'm not a lawyer, but yes. You won't bully me.
I'm not bullying you at all.
Now, the president
yes.
did not refer to the case before the court. He referred to the application for.
No, he actually referred to the case. The case means the writ.
No, I'm saying that
yes.
in the letter,
yes,
the cease and desist letter,
yes,
the president referred to the application for injunction,
yes,
and said that it was tried knowledge in law that once a process like that had been initiated, we all stay off
yes.
until decided by the courts.
Yes.
The speaker
yes.
disagreed with the president.
Yes.
But of course, as they say, idiocy for idiocy.
Yes.
If we were to go by your logic,
yes.
then I've also been informed that
yes.
there is also an injunction.
Yes.
And so we're also going to stay off our hands.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
Now I'm saying that on the basis of that, the injunction, for which reason the speaker said we can't proceed on the basis of the president's logic, has been thrown out.
It wasn't thrown out.
The injunction?
Yes.
The application for injunction?
Yes.
It wasn't granted.
Yes, but it doesn't mean it was thrown out.
So it wasn't granted.
Okay.
So it wasn't granted. So that impediment no longer exists.
Okay. So, but I'm saying
yes
that you are wrong in that regard.
Why?
Because as part of my main prayers before the court,
yes,
it's a prayer for the grant of perpetual injunction. So until the final determination of the matter.
Perpetual injunction on Parliament.
Yes, Director of Parliament. Not to proceed with the vetting further of the ministers, the nominees presented to Parliament until the requirements under Article 70. My case is a very simple matter.
I will find it extremely difficult.
Yes.
If not very strange.
Yes.
If the Speaker
yes.
decides to use this reason as a decision not to continue with the process.
Why would that be so?
Because you see, we all had
the Attorney General. That is why the Attorney General has applied for expeditious hearing of the matter. The expeditious hearing of the matter is not limited to the application or notice for the grant of interlocutory injunction alone. It refers to the entire matter. So my hope now is for the Supreme Court to proceed to hear that matter expeditiously.
No, that is your matter.
Yes, that is
but
my
in
matter.
terms of Parliament doing this work, you see, two things have happened.
Yes.
One, the Amanda Odre case.
Yes.
Whilst you are second reading,
yes,
she went to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
The Supreme Court says that Parliament cannot be stopped.
You cannot injunct Parliament.
Now you
have
also tried to injunct Parliament.
Yes.
The Supreme Court says that you cannot.
And it failed.
So on what legs would the Speaker say that Parliament shouldn't do his work?
Because the matter is before court. The matter is sub judice.
Which precedence is that? The matter was before. Listen,
let me give you. Hold on.
Hold on.
You are speaking of motions.
Yes.
Motions brought on notice to, as it were, in the interim, hold the hands of Parliament at bay.
Yes.
And the Supreme Court says you cannot do that.
Yes.
But it does not preclude Parliament from saying that until the Supreme Court determines the matter on its merits, we will not proceed.
Parliament cannot say that because...
Why can't Parliament
First of all, in the case of the Amanda Odre, there was a substantive matter.
Yes.
And she went for an interim measure.
Yes.
And the Supreme Court's position was that you can't stop Parliament from doing its legislative work.
Okay.
So clear that out of it.
Okay.
You also went to the Supreme Court with a substantive matter.
You've asked this matter 3 times.
But also asked for an interim measure.
Similar relief.
And the Supreme Court was consistent.
Yes.
That you cannot prevent Parliament from doing its work.
Yes.
So on what basis will the Speaker say that I cannot continue doing my work?
On the basis that the matter is pending before court.
No.
Why?
I'm not sure the Speaker will even do that.
But I'll raise it on the floor.
I'm not sure. Oh, no, you can raise it.
I'll raise it on the floor because you see,
that.
I am saying that the president in making these nominations erred constitutionally.
No, that matter will be heard.
No, it's not about that matter will be heard. Yeah. That is the gravamen of the matter.
Yes.
So, if the Supreme Court determines the matter tomorrow and says that the basis upon which I came before them is correct, and therefore the appointment should be reversed, or that the president should comply with the requirements under Article 78, 79, you don't think that a grave injustice would have been occasioned to me, and also that these 23 or 22 ministers of state would have gone on to occupy office unconstitutionally? So this on the balance of the conveniences and the probabilities, I believe that we must all stay our hands until the matter is expeditiously. I didn't bring the application for expeditious hearing. Is the Attorney General who has done that? So
when is the Supreme Court hearing the Richard Sky matter?
I'm not the Supreme Court, with all due respect.
No, so you're a lawyer. That's
yes, but a request has gone from the Speaker's Council requesting for expeditious hearing. Interestingly, no official communication has been issued from the registry of the courts, unlike in my case. So we wait till the Supreme Court decides to release that matter for hearing expeditiously in that sense.
Well, per how the Supreme Court is ruled in those two cases, I mean, this should,
it should give a
yes,
giving the direction of the court.
I hope that is not the reason why we're having delays anyway.
Yes.
Anyway, okay.
So good morning to my brother Okoboy. Doc.
Oko,
how are you?
So listening to him, left to him alone, until the determination of the matter, you should hang.
You see, it's not Oko that is hanging.
It's because Oko is here.
These are the constitutional checks that I'm bringing to bear on the president. Look, this whole problem was created by Eugene Ahin. If Eugene Ahin had communicated properly,
don't blame him.
No, I have to blame him.
Okay, I said
because you see, I made a point on the 9th of the 14th of February. I indicated that Eugene should be called upon to correct the communication if that is not the true intent of the president. Because if you don't do that after 30 days, I will sue. So I put them on notice, and I said this on some other other media platforms. So I was hoping that they would have come out to say that the communication was made in error. You have seen other appointments and releases regarding other appointments by the president. Why haven't those persons been revoked, first of all, before reassigned? As it were. So there was something fundamentally wrong with that communication. And you see, J.H. Mensah told J.J. Rollins in 1997, especially the late Vincent Assise, when they sought to explain that, the public announcement regarding those former ministers was made in error. J.H. Mensah said in constitutional governance, there's nothing like miscommunication. You make a public announcement in respect of the operation of the Constitution, and that's it. If a person is aggrieved, the person must go to the Supreme Court for interpretation.
All right, okay. So I've just got a text. There's a group. They say prayer warriors for Okoboy, and that you shouldn't worry, and that they are praying. They're led by a lady, Adelaide.
And answer. Yes. This is the kind of prayer God wants to hear, not these guys' prayers.
So he's praying to the courts.
Can you imagine?
He's praying to man.
You see, in law, we call them my Lord's Temporal. So my prayers are before my Lord's Temporal.
Lord who go on retirement. God is always there.
My Lord's Temporal.
So
my Lord's Spiritual. Yes, that prayer is to my Lord's Spiritual.
The prayer warriors, I should tell you not to worry.
Faith.
Okay,
you work by faith.
Okay,
I'm sorry. I have to watch my distance.
If you're looking for a toothpaste that will take care of all the family and save money, the recommended family toothpaste is Kel 360 toothpaste. It's approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Kel 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. Kale 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using Kale 360 toothpaste. Kale 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use Kale 360 toothpaste. Kale 360 toothpaste is another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso, and is available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 0246 864 Kale 360 toothpaste, happy smile. And enjoying the fruits of your labor is as important as enjoying the mansions of your labor. The pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages, but worry no more. Lift and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It is a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lift and Elevators at Sakumono. Just call them on 0200-535-515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. All right. So, Council, you're on the Public Accounts Committee.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I came across this report by Komla Kluche of TV3. I want to play that report, and then I'll take your views, since you're on the committee, and then the views of Dr. Okoboy as well. What happened?
The state of the project estimated at 993 million United States dollars. Government claims this would be the single largest investment ever made in the northern part of the country. But nearly 5 years after a colorful sword cutting ceremony, no major work has been done as the contractor has abandoned the project site. It is emerging that government in 2021 paid Chinese contractors MS Power China $11.9 million US. Well, it is clear, despite the payment made by the central bank on behalf of the state, there's no evidence of the work. Government, in the same vein, has made payment of $2.57 million US to Motor Angels Contract Cow for the construction of expansion works on the Accra-Tema motorway. It has emerged that there's no evidence of work done, as currently the contractor on the motorway is MS Maripoma. The Public Accounts Committee is enraged at the payment, as the auditors have been asked to go back and do further details on the work.
So clearly for this government, it's all about payments to companies for no work done. Then the same people will turn around and blame COVID-19 and blame Russia and Ukraine and blame all kinds of things and not blame themselves for making these huge payments. And I'm mentioning dollars. If you convert it to cedis at the current exchange rate, then we are talking about over 160 billion. Why should we continue doing that to ourselves?
The committee is expecting the auditors to return to the committee in a week's time with further details on the payment.
They would have had water to be able to do dry season farming, and they would need not to come down to seek for non-existing jobs, and some of them ends up either being molested and being treated in ways that is dehumanizing. This government is a no-no government.
Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Accra.
So that's Komla Kluche of TV3's report on the Auditor General's report currently before the Public Accounts Committee. Roxanne, is that a true reflection of what is contained in the report and what transpired at your committee?
That is so.
So give us a bit of a background. Let's appreciate what the issues are.
Yes. So yesterday we convened as a committee to invite 3 institutions, especially the Controller and Accountant General, regarding the report submitted by the Auditor General concerning its work for 2022. It was quite an extensive consideration. So after that, the Bank of Ghana also appeared. The governor himself, for the first time in a long time, came with his two deputies. The first deputy and the second deputy were all with him. Some departmental heads. It was in respect of his performance audit report conducted by the Auditor General for the fiscal year 2022. And so we asked him to take us through the essential portions of the report. And two remarkable things happened that are, for instance, if you look at asset and liability status, it moved from, in 2021, it moved from 459 billion to 810 billion in 2022. Then members focused on some payments that were effected from the Bank of Ghana to some entities. Now, as part of these payments, we noted two major things. You know, the Pualugu Dam, Pualugu multi-purpose dam, was repackaged by, or the Pualugu Dam was repackaged by government and awarded on contract for about $958 million to be constructed as a multi-purpose dam, which will serve as a storage of, as a reservoir to store water from the black water, and also serve as irrigation facility for farmers in the catchment area of the dam. So that's how come they named it multi-purpose dam. Now, after about 4 or 5 years of the award of that contract, the evidence on the ground, in situ, if you go to the ground, if you go in situ, is that there's nothing happening. There's nothing happening at all.
The communication is always.
Now, I sit here, use medical terms sometimes. How are you? So we were struck. It struck all of us as odd to see as much as $11-point-something million paid to a contractor for supposedly doing some work on what they labeled Pualugu irrigation project. Because you see, the irrigation project is the same as the Pualugu multi-purpose dam. And the dam hasn't been constructed, even though it's been given on contract. So in order not to belabor the point, we asked the auditors what they saw. We found out from the governor on what basis these monies were paid. And the governor explained that he couldn't tell because it must have been documents provided to his bank for payments to be made. And so he simply effected the payment. So then the focus of the committee shifted to the auditors to find out what sort of documents they saw which justified the payment. You know, the auditors who appear, who accompany us on our journey anytime we interrogate these matters, are actually not those who do the work. It's their subordinates, junior staff, sometimes line managers, regional directors and all. These are the people who come are normal assistants, auditor generals and all that. So they have promised to go back, get the documents, and provide us with copies, because it is when we get those documents that we will appreciate what occasioned the payment of the $11.3 million or so. Because we wanted to find out who even certified the work. Because you see, work amount of that nature and the civil works involved, an engineer will have to certify that the work had truly been done, a meet standard, and all that. You know, all those things that we do as part of quality checks in civil construction. So we are waiting for the document justifying the payment. Then also, like you hinted earlier, we saw some 2.something million payment to this company regarding the motorway. And the motorway, we all know nothing has been done in respect of it. And so that too, we requested for some documentation to justify that payment to, I think it's a Portuguese name. I've forgotten the name of the
Motor
company.
Angels.
Motor Angels, yes. So in addition to that, there was one other payment. So there are three requests that we demanded from the Bank of Ghana and the Auditor General's office to provide us with further and better particulars so we can properly interrogate this matter. So preliminary, these are matters that came before us as captured in the performance audit report conducted by the Auditor General and the Bank of Ghana. Yes.
Okay.
Today we'll be interrogating the cocoa roots audit reports.
Today?
Yes, today. So you must
Your
listen
this
to
thing
us.
is live only on Parliament.
We've been. I think the problem with GTV.
Parliament Facebook page, right?
Yes, we've been. I don't know what the problem is with GTV not covering this live anymore. It's so painful that a national activity of this nature, GTV won't have.
So today's Cocoa Rose.
Yeah, today's Cocoa Rose.
Okay.
You can even come and listen.
You should do a podcast. I mean, current. Do a podcast and let us have it.
Okay. Advice well taken.
Exactly. Doc, let me say a very good morning.
Honorable Minister of Health in abeyance.
Very soon. Okay, good morning to Honorable Makwata, former Roads Minister. He started some works in my constituency before the transition.
I met him a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
He's also a member of the
He's now
committee.
looking very young.
Oh,
and handsome.
yeah.
Tell it,
He was
was
a member of the committee. He was present yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I want to appreciate him as we speak. All those at Maryville, Okwegono, there's a lot of works happening in that particular enclave. And at the same time, you have a lot of work also towards the beach road. Those watching from Lejukuku, they would speak to the Manfi to go on a school road, asphalting and all that. So we have to show gratitude, because there was a time when I made some spirited advocacy, and some of my constituents even took to the streets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doc, I'm informed that yesterday GTV actually carried it live. So let me.
Was it throughout or up to a point?
Well, I'm told that yesterday.
So we can be.
So we want to urge them to continue.
Okay.
So, Doc, I want to thank the former minister and my brother, Honorable Asenso, the current or new rules minister, has also taken it on strongly.
Is it the current? Is it the current rules minister?
Who is the current rules minister?
He's not.
Oh, Doc,
He's
Jalen.
not.
He's the rules minister.
I've been caught against that. He's not.
Okay. That's where the issue of I get him. I get him. That is his prayer.
Okay, has the prayer been granted?
Not yet.
So can I call Asenso the rules minister?
No.
Please, I don't want to attempt to assume the role of a
In
judge.
this case, I'll go with you down the line. But, look, so I want to appreciate Asenso, Honorable Asenso Bantama MP. He's giving indications that very soon he will come to the community to give some support to the contractors and assure them of remuneration so that they can continue the good works. Having said so, let me also greet Right Honorable Speaker Abam Bagbin. He's my father. So his children are calling on him to come around. Yeah. So, with this payments issue, I think over the years we've had this culture where when issues come before the Public Accounts Committee, sometimes we are tempted to take the issues that are raised as the end of the story. And look, sometimes it can be unfair to the actors involved. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing to throw light on events that happen at public places where our monies are used. It is a good thing to discuss them. It's a good thing to query or scrutinize those transactions. But I think we also have a duty to remind viewers and ourselves that most of these issues are flagged issues. Flagged means that on the surface they look like aberrations or things which are not normal. But sometimes when you go behind and investigate further, either there is wrong which is done that is even prosecutable. Sometimes you find a situation where what has happened is not the usual thing, but is not of an offensive conduct that deserves punishment. Sometimes you even realize that even the reportage or the capturing based on information available at that time is what created that impression, and that with subsequent information, the impression you see now is not really the case. So with all these things, I usually say that we should be cautious in our how do we call it, our judgments. Having said all this, I give my full support to the Public Accounts Committee. As a country, we must send a strong signal, whether MPP or NDC is in power, that those who get the privilege of handling public office are not above the law. They are not above board, and they are subject to scrutiny. I think we've mentioned two issues here with the motorway, the Portuguese company mentioned. I mean,
Motor Angels.
Yes, Motor Angels. I mean, as a Ghanaian, if I'm told that we paid $2.something million for no work done, my first and natural instinct will be, I mean, why? And
already we paid $2 million for a sky train.
Yeah.
Zero.
And we'll keep our focus. So I know that I know that the committee will do a good job. Honorable Veji is the chair, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And Honorable Veji too, he has a solid record, a very renowned, is it chartered accountant? So I don't have any fears. I know that we'll go to the bottom of the matter. But my only advice is that we should not hang people before we go through the whole matter. Yeah.
Mm. All right. Okay. So let's come to something which is about health. And Coalition of CSO networks in HIV, TB, and malaria held a presser, and they've issued a statement. And we'll be speaking with them this morning. And they say that they intend petitioning President and Parliament on continued lockup of Global Fund donated health commodities at Tema port. And we're told that these commodities are valued at more than $40 million, and they've been wasting away at the port since May 2023. Since May 2023. And so that's 11 months. And they comprise antiretrovirals for treatment of HIV, medications for treatment of TB, artemisinin-based combination therapy, ACTs for the treatment of malaria, insecticide-treated nets, rapid diagnostic kits, test kits, and GeneXpert cartridges, among others. And they say the situation has currently created stockouts in health facilities across the country, leading to needless loss of lives and frustration for health workers. Now, what are the issues? The Global Fund has since 2002 supported Ghana's national response against HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria to the tune of more than $1.2 billion. These funds are made available to the country in cycles of 3 years. For example, for Grant Cycle 6, which was implemented between 2021 and 2023, Global Fund supported the country with about $250 million. For Grant Cycle 7, which is to be implemented from this year to 2026, the Global Fund has earmarked $248 million for the country. Between May and August, Global Fund, as part of its commitment, shipped items worth about $40 million into the country. In line with regular practice, Global Fund made available $400,000, being 1% of the value of the commodities to cover procurement and supply management costs. However, at the time the commodities arrived, Government of Ghana informed Global Fund that the amount of $400,000 would not be sufficient for the clearance due to increase in port charges. This was coupled with the fact that Parliament had failed to grant waivers for AU, ECOWAS, and COVID-19 recovery levies. And according to government, the required amount in taxes, levies, and port charges for the clearance of the commodities will be $3.6 million. The Global Fund raised concerns about this amount and reminded government that as per the framework agreement between the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance, and the Global Fund, they are not supposed to pay taxes and levies on commodities they donate freely to the country. They also pointed to their relations with other countries where they do not pay such levies and taxes. Regrettably, government insisted on the payment, and this is what led to the deadlock in the clearance process, which has festered till date. As we speak, we are not sure of the storage conditions of these commodities. We are not sure whether these delicate commodities are being sheltered under the right temperatures or they are being exposed to the vagaries of the weather. Our greatest fears are that if no action is taken now, by the time the medications are cleared, some may have either expired or may no longer be safe for human consumption. And in March 2024, a 12-member delegation from the Global Fund paid a working visit to the country to follow up on the locked-up commodities. In spite of all their efforts, they did not make any headway, and the commodities still remain uncleared at the ports. They have therefore indicated that Ghana risks losing all Global Fund support if government fails to act on the matter. To start with, they've already suspended all commodity shipments to the country until the ones at the ports are cleared. And they speak about the dire consequences. I've heard some of them speak about the number of people who die every day, TB and all those things. Now, you are not yet in the chair, but I know that your shadows hang around the place and all that. Now, on the face of this sounds extremely ridiculous.
Yeah.
That you are gifted $40 million worth of health products for malaria, for TB, for how do you call it, HIV and all that. And then you say that duties will cost 3.6. Already they say there's a framework agreement. Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Health, Global Fund. And that framework agreement states that they are not supposed to pay any taxes or levies because these are gifts. They are giving it to you for free. But they add 1% for maybe some charges that may come. So in this case, $400,000. And we say that no. If we calculate the charges at the port, it will come to $3.6 million. This is revenue to the state. $3.6 million. And so the $400,000 will not be enough. They insist that, well, they do not have any arrangement to make them pay any extra money beyond the 1%. For this reason, the $40 million worth of all these commodities for all these ailments have been at the port for 11 months. Why so?
Look, so let me say that the Global Fund has been a very supportive partner, to Ghana. And as you read, committing over $1 billion to our healthcare needs and system. To be honest with you, in as much as legislation and protocols and other things are being mentioned as the cause for this delay, I believe strongly that this could have been avoided. Doc, this could have been avoided if the sector heads and schedule officers in the different ministries, I'm talking about finance, health, and whichever other agencies are connected, were beyond what is on paper, talking to each other frequently and consistently on this matter. This should have been resolved a long time ago. So, I mean, although I've not been sworn in, I just asked a week ago, I think, yes, a week or two ago, I spoke to the chief director. I'm like, what is this about? Because they came to see me.
The 12-member delegation.
Yeah, in fact, not the whole 12-member, but the leader, the country coordinating mechanism. In fact, a rep of the Global Fund came to see me. And I told them, I mean, these are things matters that should be resolved quickly. So, it was subsequent to my engagement with the Global Fund rep that I put forward these questions. And before I even came there, these things were things I had heard about. So the chief director told me that they had written to finance to try and take a look at the tax waivers and all that. Apparently, they worked on it speedily. Yesterday, I happened to be at finance to see Honorable Amin Anta. And whilst there, my aide sent me a post by one of the media houses that this containers issue is still brewing. So I asked Chief Director, the last I want to ask you, said this thing was going to be resolved. Luckily, because we're in finance, they brought their schedule officer in charge. And they said, oh, they've had a meeting with the acting Commissioner General and that everything has been more or less resolved. And that is statement. And I said, whatever you are doing, nobody in Ghana knows about it. Current modern governance has to do with timely release of information. Whatever you are doing is not for you. So, Doc, it's actually following our engagements yesterday that made the GRA release the information that is captured in graphic as well as other electronic media. Bottom line, a lot of efficiency must be brought to bear when it comes to the processes that lead to clearance of these goods. They don't need to write to Parliament. Now that it's been resolved. And look, it's been resolved even at the executive level. Talk about heads of agencies and all that. It is usually when the executive level fails to act in terms of, I'm talking about agency heads or ministers, that you can escalate to Parliament. Apparently, the excuse was that if Parliament passed a levy and they've not granted a waiver, it's supposed to be enforced. But what have we done now? What we've done now is to use administrative, I will not say discretion, but administrative authority to set the levy aside and let the goods pass. It also means that we could have done this some months ago.
But the Global Fund, you know, where I get a bit worried is this part, that beyond all of this, you know, and beyond all of this, we're told that
the threat to suspend
in March 2024, a 12-member delegation from the Global Fund paid a working visit to the country to follow up on the locked-up commodities.
Yeah.
In spite of all their efforts, they did not make any headway. The commodities still remain uncleared at the ports. And they've indicated that Ghana risks losing all the Global Fund.
Yeah, Doc,
yes.
I mean, when it comes to these partners, they watch your posture. I mean, we deal with institutions, not personalities.
Yes.
But they also watch the posture and the attitude of those running ministry or the...
Yes.
I think, looking at what has happened, I don't see some high level of energies when it comes to the collaboration. Not if not the...
Now, this is obviously the attitude of a country that does not require these things. Because if really you require this, and you are the health practitioner, I mean, the fact that these things have been even at the port for close to a year, 11 months.
Not
say 11 months. I mean, how do you explain this? You say you don't have money.
Yeah.
A global fund gives you $40 million worth of consumables and medications for critical things that you require. I was listening to the stats on how many people die as a result of TB per day and all that, you know. And you have these things at the ports. They add $400,000 to you. You say that duties have gone up, so it's now $3.6 million. So they should come and top up $3.2 million. Otherwise, the thing should be at the port and perish. And you have a deficit all across your hospitals. You don't have these medications. Even if you had to pay yourself, is your revenue. Even if you had to take 3.2 million to go and pay the duties, to clear the $40 million worth of.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look,
if you were part of the global fund, is this a country that you even think about?
look, so, I mean, the point I'm making is that these are matters that shouldn't have even gotten to this level. And all I can buy anyway, you know. So going forward, I think the relationship is going to be stronger. These matters would be a thing of the past. The commitment levels must be high. And, you know, I was at Ministry of Finance myself on some issues. Hardly would a finance minister see a colleague sector minister coming to deal on such matters and ignore or be lukewarm. I suspect, like I said, I'm being careful with words. I don't want to seem like I'm indicting anybody, but the level of energy and spirited collaboration, intersectorial, I mean.
Hey, are you a sector minister?
Oh. Randy wants solutions. So, in a designate,
Yes, I agree.
Randy, all this while inside going to go in. You have few arguments. Get solution back.
Unfortunately, yours cannot be backdated. So, because yours is subject to parliamentary approval. So, if you go and sign anything,
yes,
they cannot give you a Misha Dial.
Even if you become a minister, allow the chief directors to sign.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's good advice. This is one of the very
Now,
good advice.
okay.
So, Doc, I think the point I'm making is that a solution has been carved.
Will people be held responsible?
Oh, Doc.
So let's say if there's a medication that has an expiry date of maybe 2 years, and by the time it's cleared and distributed, maybe another 12, 13 months are gone.
But Doc, I don't want to go into the details. Might seem like I'm either indicting someone or exculpating.
Yeah, but will somebody be held responsible?
No, my point is that even on the surface, the technical person.
You know why I ask this? Before any shipment is made to Ghana, Ghana will be aware.
Yeah.
When the shipment even takes place, we'll be aware. Because all the bill of lading and all those things. So we'll even be aware. We'll know when the goods will arrive at the port and all that. If there is anything to be done, already there's a framework agreement existing.
Look, that's where reason must overwhelm. You have a schedule. There's a new level. You're paying 1% in the past. My book tells you have to pay a different amount. Not this $40,000. You have to pay, let's say, $3 million. And then those officers who are handling it from health say that, no, but this is the money that has been allocated. Look, if someone from the top doesn't take up the issue.
Just hold on. I've been told that we have a small technical thing. So just hold on. We'll take a quick break and then resolve that and come back. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana Live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have Dr. Bernard Okoboy and our legal practitioner who's trying very hard to prevent Dr. Okoboy from being approved, Roxy Nelson, the Femakbo. Now, what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, us got the Mola, got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on our Dome TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on the website at www.gameparkgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Charlie, make we play this game and make some mola. Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Game Park Games, more mola, more power. This game is regulated by a National Lottery Authority and it's not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Ayesoko, the Akosombo dam be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control over every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply, not for persons under 18. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway gets way more. And Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best. Blue Jeans energy drink is for bold and active men and women. So go on, grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190 or 055 001 0000. All right. So let me come to you on this development with the Global Fund. Quite shameful. Yes.
Quite worrying. Doc, we have a statutory solution for this problem.
Statutory?
Yes.
Okay. Which is?
Parliament enacted what we call the Tax Exemptions Act, 2022, Act 1083. And in that law, we set criteria for entities that will qualify for exemptions in matters such as this. Look, with your permission, let me read Section 1 of the law. It says, the object of this act is to A, provide for an exemptions regime and the scope of exemptions. B, set criteria for exemptions. C, provide for the administration of exemptions. And D, provide for monitoring, evaluation, reporting, and enforcement of exemptions. Section 2 says, Section 2.1 says this act applies to all exemptions. Now, 2.2 says this act shall be read together with any other enactment relevant to taxes, levies, rates, duties, fees, charges, and public financial management. 3, where there is a conflict or inconsistency between the provisions of this act and any other enactment related to exemptions, the provisions of this act shall prevail. Now, Section 2.4 says this act is a tax law for purposes of the Revenue Administration Act 2016, Act 915. Section 3 of the law, Doc, says definition of exemption. Section 3.1 says, for the purposes of this act, an exemption is A waiver or variation of a tax, levy, rate, duty, fee, or charge provided for under an enactment, or B, a variation of the timing of the payment of a tax, levy, rate, duty, fee, or charge, which results in a reduction in the effective liability of the payer. Section 3.2 says, despite subsection 1, the power of the Commissioner General to remit assessed tax or extend the date on which a tax is payable shall continue to apply. Now, Doc, if we go to Section 12 of the law, it says that donor and charity organizations. So this is where we come in. This is where this matter comes in. Section 12.1 says an item for A, educational purposes, and B, health purposes, imported by a development partner, a charity organization, a philanthropist, or any other not-for-profit organization as a gift for charitable purposes is subject to subsection 2, exempt from customs duties and custom taxes when the application is supported by a recommendation by the relevant sector minister and approved by the minister. Now, here is what the 2 says. An application for the exemption referred to in subsection 1 shall not be processed unless the application is made by the official head of the identifiable group that benefits from the gift, and B, spells out in detail the specific items and the quantity of each item expected in the donation. So, Doc, the solution is that the agencies or the communities or the local entities that will benefit from this consignment are supposed to apply to the Minister of Health for a tax exemption pursuant to Section 12(1) of the Exemptions Act 2022, Act 1083. Now, when they do that, the Minister of Health will have to approve the application. And then it will be referred to the Minister of Finance for final authorization. This is the procedure. So I don't see why we haven't followed this procedure in getting these items from the port. It's a very simple procedure if you understand the processes. So, in addition to what Doctor said, I think Dr. Oko's point is too laborious for me. This is the applicable law. So, the entities that will benefit, we need to identify them. Once we identify them, then they will apply to the ministry. Then the minister will approve of it. Once the approval comes, it goes to Minister of Finance for authorization. Then the things can be taken out of the pot. And you see,
there's a development which even makes it like here. Yeah. I've just seen this on page 13 of Daily Graphic.
Yeah.
Now it says GRA Commissioner General intervenes. First batch HIV drugs out on Friday. And this story filed by Juliet Chan, Safo, and Josephine Ansan reads the first batch of drugs for the fight against HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria is expected to leave the Temaport by close of the week. In all, 12 bills of lading of the pharmaceutical products donated by the Global Fund, which have been locked up at the Temaport since May last year, will leave the ports for onward distribution. This follows the intervention of the Acting Commissioner General, who met with the leadership of the country coordinating mechanism of the Global Fund to fight HIV, AIDS, TB, and malaria, CCM Ghana, in a bid to resolve the impasse. Apparently the drugs are valued at over $45 million. Mr. Siam, at the meeting with CCM Ghana, indicated that it was unfortunate, listen carefully, it was unfortunate that while an exemption had been granted for the products, there were outstanding liabilities for third-party clearance fees, charges, demurrage, and other penalties on the goods at the port. Due to the non-payment of the charges, the goods have overstayed and therefore been forfeited into GRA custody.
No, that in itself is also wrong. Because you see, the law is very clear as to the applicable charges. And that is stated under Section 26 of the law. And this is what it says. Section 26 of Act 1083 says that, if with your permission, Randy, let me read. 26.1. A person who uses a service for which an administrative fee or other charge is chargeable under the Fees and Charges Miscellaneous Provisions Act 2022, Act 1080, is not exempt from the payment of the associated administrative fee or charge. So how much is this fee that we are unable to pay? How much is it? How much is it? That if you are granted the exemption in respect of all the drugs, how much is the processing fee?
First of all,
yes.
What is it that led to the non-clearance? For which reason demurrage and other things have had to come in?
You see, we were not told, but this new development says that the exemption has been granted. It appears that they brought an application under Section 12 of the Act 1083 to get that exemptions granted by the Ministry of Finance, granted by Ministry of Health, authorized by Ministry of Finance. That's what the law says. But if the issue is about the applicable administration fee, how much is it? And why must it take it so long for this to come up? Up to now, we don't even know how much the admin fees and charges were. Because the law says that under 26, if you are liable to pay those administrative charges, then you are not exempted from paying them under this law. So you have to pay them. So we need to know how much it was that led to these problems that we find ourselves. But it's unacceptable. It sends very wrong signals to a lot of people who may want to do good to us.
I don't know. Okay, let's see how it goes. Dr. Kuboy says that he would ensure that everything is sorted out. It's also so embarrassing, to be honest with you. If I were the Global Fund, I would even blacklist Ghana. Anyway. Anyway, the minority in Ghana's parliament, Dr. Kuboy, has demanded the immediate interdiction of the registrar of the Scholarship Secretariat, following an investigative report by the Fourth Estate into his conduct. The report alleges that scholarships intended for deserving and academically excellent students in need were instead granted based on political affiliations and other inappropriate criteria. According to the Fourth Estate's investigation spanning 2019 to 2020, individuals linked to the ruling party were reportedly given preferential treatment in the scholarship awards. One NPP official allegedly received multiple scholarships totaling £57,210 for postgraduate studies, while a special assistant to the vice president's spouse purportedly obtained £17,355 for a program in the UK, which they allegedly never attended. In light of these revelations, the minority MPs are demanding the immediate resignation of Kingsley Agyemang, the registrar of the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat. They are also calling for prompt investigation by the Office of the Special Prosecutor into the operations of the Secretariat. The minority statement emphasizes that these findings have been corroborated by testimonies from Ghanaians both domestically and internationally. The series of investigations by the Fourth Estate have since been corroborated by other patriotic Ghanaians both home and abroad. Many have cited instances of extortion, bribery and collection of kickbacks allegedly involving the registrar of the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, Kingsley Agyemang, and other officials. Other first-hand chilling accounts of our compatriots who have reached out to the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat for help reveal wanton corruption and gross abuse of office by these officials of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia NPP government. The minority also called on President Akufo-Addo to act swiftly to protect the public purse from further abuse. Widespread reports of multiple scholarships worth several thousands of dollars, sometimes awarded to the same individuals in the same year, reveal the extent of abuse of the taxpayers' money. Worst of all, it has been reported that these awards are sometimes handed to NPP-aligned persons for 2-week training programs abroad, in return for some kickback. In light of the above revelations and others which will be contained in details of the over 900 foreign scholarships awarded between 2019 and 2020, yet to be published by the Fourth Estate, the NDC Minority Caucus in Parliament hereby demands the following: the immediate interdiction of the registrar, pending investigations into its operations. The Special Prosecutor must order an immediate forensic audit of all scholarships awarded since January 2017. We call on President Akufo-Addo to act swiftly on this matter in order to protect the public purse from further abuse. And last week we were discussing this issue, especially when the, I think it was a registrar, was speaking with Joy Multimedia, and then he indicated that there ought to be a regulation, dealing with this thing. And then it made me sad, because it looks like we believe that we are robots. If we are given a little room to exercise discretion on the basis of whatever our competencies and patriotism and whatever is, we will not do so unless we are directed to do A, B, C, D, E, and F. And for some of these issues, last week I raised the issue. One, if you look at some of the programs that are being pursued outside, and the fact that many of those programs are run here, and if you look at the cost, sometimes one of those programs abroad, which is here, the same amount of money can be used to pay for 50 people if the thing was done here. And sometimes for some of those Harvard 6-week, 4-week things that some people in the elite class ask us to pay 50,000, 60,000 pounds and dollars for them to go and really do. Why do we do all that? And there appears to also not be a very objective criteria. I don't know if those things should be legislated. I don't believe so. But it appears that, look, this is where we are. I mean, yes, there are allegations of people who claim that some extortion before they are given the scholarships and all that. One of them that baffled me was somebody who we paid over £15,000 to go to school. The person claims that they had an accident or something, and so they didn't go. And the person didn't write to the university for a deferment and to show the medical thing and to ask for a deferment. They just couldn't be bothered because it is not their money. I'm sure if they had saved up or it was their parents who were paying, they would not say that they had a medical condition or an accident. So, I mean, we've paid £15,000 plus, it can go to hell. And of course, nobody's going to take any action against such persons. The person even has a temerity to even tell us that the school keeps sending them mails asking for money for accommodation and all that. Okay, I don't know. I'm sure that you've been following this issue. I don't know what you've been
Doc, you know.
And when the list is published, I will be interested in finding out the kind of courses that we're paying money for people to go and pursue.
Doc, I want to say that these are one of those few instances where we appreciate the work of journalism. And that is not necessarily to say that any and everything Manasseh has done is sacrosanct and perfect. Why am I saying this, Manche?
Mm-hmm.
And this is not equalization, but this is to bring our attention to the fact that when you put an arrangement in place and you don't learn from its operationalization, people can abuse it for long. Doc, so if you go and check, when I went to Presec, my mother was struggling to pay our fees. Because of me, it was 2 years ago, myself and my twin sister. And they told us they were doing some interview for scholarship at AME. I ironed my shorts, my shirt, looking sharp, first year student.
And you see what you see there?
Yeah.
The scholarship secretariat, the legalization has not reached there.
Okay.
This is what they gave to the Fourth Estate when they were compelled by RTI to give them the details of the scholarships.
Okay.
This is how they gave it to them.
I'm sure it's a foundation document.
Foundation.
It must be transcribed.
It looks like concrete though. So.
Post it. The parliamentary question.
No. So
in US litigation, they call it inundation.
yeah.
Give you stockpile of documents.
Yes. So Doc, I went for the interview. Serious confidence. 12 ones from field engineers. Science student. In your bar, the list away. Oh! Manje, many our scholarship. As one AMA assemblyman, oh! So the point I'm making is that, unfortunately, we have a history where packages that are put in place for meritorious people or needy people, sometimes it doesn't serve the purpose. But the one who put the package in place can't envisage all those things. It is for those who have watched and monitored operationalization, who are supposed to now do subsequent.
In fact, it's the expectation of those who mooted the idea that those who will be responsible for the implementation
would apply
will
the
work in accordance with the spirit of it.
Correct. But Doc, you realize that human beings by nature are driven by interest. It's one of the things one big businessman in this country told me. I went to him when things were tough for me when I was MP. I was complaining about this. He said, Doc, those you are mentioning, they have interest. Have you thought of their interest? Everybody moves on interest. So the point is that those in the AMA then, who were in the assembly, who sat on the agreement and the package to allocate funds for that scholarship, their interest was that they were bringing their people to come and benefit from this scholarship. So to address this after operationalization, that's why you can now put some steps in place to mitigate those interests or subdue it, like writing an objective test, publishing the results, letting those who score go through maybe another level of an essay, giving it to a third party to do the grading. You know, council, there are a few things you do, and then it will be clear. You know, British government gives scholarship. If you go and check.
Chevening.
Exactly. If you go and check, all those who were beneficial of their scholarship are heavyweights in code. You can feel their impact. And you have no doubts if they tell you these are beneficiaries of scholarships or scholars, doc. Now, I'll not mention names, but I'm also told that you have people who are highly connected, who in the era before we came also studied in ABBEY, certain places based on government scholarship or government scholarship. So when I sit down, based on some of the learnings I've had in politics, I'm not in a rush to go like, oh, how come this guy who is connected to MPP or NDC went to school in ABBEY? Rather, the first thing I'm interested in is what are the mitigating measures to put in place? Or the reverse question, since a lawyer is here, is that was it criminal or did it breach any rule when this person was given the scholarship? So immediately you realize that a person is not really breaking a rule or breaching a rule, but on the surface of it, there is not much fairness or there's abuse. That's where quickly we must come together as a country and put in place measures to correct that. And Doc, I agree with you when you say that sometimes the amount of money spent on one person can pay for the same cost 20, 30 Ghanaians here in Accra or in Kumasi or any part of the country. We have to take a second look. If it will take listing courses that will be barred from sponsorship abroad, we should go ahead and list them. And we should indicate that the list can be subjected to a review depending on courses that emerge. Look, some got their courses. If you go and check their academic background, it could be based on merit as well, Doc. Others also, when you go and check, it is because of who they know. But you see, because they will end up being Ghanaians who might qualify, maybe it's the area of need. I know one doctor that was cited that they said has a private hospital and all that. So really, when you look at his standing, he didn't qualify. The only program, Doc, that I know even for rich people, sometimes they get sponsorship because hardly do people pay money for is PhDs. Especially PhDs in the sciences or for academics. Doc, like a PhD in surgery, PhD in anatomy. They know that these are courses that when you do it, automatically, either you are going to teach or you are into research that will benefit the country. And PhDs by structure are work or have part-time job themselves because you are going to do research and all that. But beyond that, I went to Hamburg when I was working as a doctor in Chebi to do my master's in public health, University of Applied Sciences. Look, I paid €6,000 a semester times 4. Whilst working, can you win in a couple can change to euros?
So you paid yourself?
Yes. Until I finished Hamburg, I didn't know that people actually end papers with the states. In fact, Hamburg was like the 3rd or 4th certificate degree, Doc, all I paid for. You know, so what I want to say, as for my friends in the opposition, Doc, there is some substance in asking for a closure of that space that gives room for discretion. Doc, I'm choosing my words well. Closing that space. There are ways to close it, like I said. We can have objective tests, you can have essays, you can have outsourcing, all that. But this thing of the guy should resign, should be fired, interdicted, be a political, 2024. But when you throw the thing that this guy must be caught, then out there, this guy is a working, convictee. So that aspect, I'm speaking as a statesman. That aspect is politicking. But the part that there's so much discretion, it should be closed. I agree. And there are ways.
What about the allegations of extortion? I'm worried about that.
Oh, Doc, as for extortion, you are going to criminality. If you study criminal law, man, 2 semesters.
Eva is using his 2-semester LLB to lecture me on criminal law.
You know, I happened to be sitting with a lawyer, and then something happened, and I said, you know, in law you have to do this. No, Nathan realized like, I'm a big lawyer. No one is slow down. The guy can, doctor, you know, big law. Vim, so, you know, so that one is the area of crime, which has its own, how do you call it, confines and definitions. And that can be dealt with. Doc, you know that one, you have to do investigations, you have to get evidence that is above board, it should be airtight and all that. That's criminal procedure. So, in effect, Doc, if we want to make gains as a country in discussing this matter and not come back to it, we have to find ways to close the space on discretion. Otherwise, in the next 16 years, no, in the next 8 years, after Dr. Mahmoud comes, it's likely that if Dafia Makpo becomes a minister at education, these things will happen again if we don't close that space.
Yet, Doc, what can I say? The issues that you are asking us to discuss this morning, they are very depressing.
I have seen the parliamentary Hansard.
Yes.
And I've seen your name.
Yeah, no, that's not the Hansard, that's the business statement.
Okay, the business statement. Okay.
Yes.
And I've seen your name.
Yes.
In the, try and project it. In fact, before your name on 1477 is Ms. Ablanji Fagumashike to South.
Yes.
To ask the Minister for Water Region what plans are input, that's the tidal wave.
Yes.
But then when it comes to a relevant issue, now you say to ask the Minister of State at the Office of the President the details, and this is for 13th of March.
Yes.
13th of March. So this should be about 3.5 weeks ago.
Yes.
Okay. So this was before the fourth estate expose.
Before.
Okay. Now, to ask the Minister of State at the Office of the President the details of all overpayments of stipend made to beneficiaries of government scholarships, both local and abroad, by the Registrar of the Scholarship Secretariat since he assumed office, with comprehensive account details on how the overpayments were made and recovered, and through which accounts. And second, you had the second question, to ask the Minister of State at the Office of the President the details of all official travels by the Registrar of the Scholarship Secretariat and his entourage since he assumed office, and the purpose as well as the total cost of each trip to the state. And then two of your colleagues also had questions. So Mrs. Angela Foriwa Aloute, Afajato South, says to ask the Minister of State at the Office of the President the full details of scholarships granted to Ghanaians for both local and international courses by the Scholarship Secretariat from 2017 to date, and the quantum of stipend paid and received by the beneficiaries. Then Dr. Clement Abbas Apak, Busa South, says to ask the Minister of State at the Office of the President when funds will be disbursed to Ghanaian students studying on government scholarships abroad by the Scholarship Secretariat. Okay. Now, what informed these questions?
Now, we have constituents who call you and tell you that we are on government scholarship, we are in so-and-so school, in so-and-so country, but our stipends are not being paid. However, some of our colleagues, sometimes in the same university, but in different faculties or departments, have received theirs. So clearly, there's a case of discrimination. Another will come and say that I have applied for government scholarship. I had first class grade points, let's say 3.9. I had a colleague who had a second class upper, grade point 3.4. Similar programs, or sometimes the same program. He got a scholarship, I didn't get it. So we want you to look into it. All right? So when MPs receive information like this, we are compelled to file a question directed at, because you see, one of the governance problems we have is that the Scholarship Secretariat, because it's a extra ministerial body, established in 1960 and placed under the Office of the President. The oversight is always difficult. It's not placed under any ministry directly. It's placed under the Office of the President. So, Chief of Staff is the one that superintends over the issues. But you cannot bring, by our governance protocols, you cannot bring the Chief of Staff to come and answer questions in Parliament. So we bring, just the way you cannot bring the judicial secretary to come and answer questions regarding maybe some administrative issues of the judicial service. If you want to direct questions at the judicial service, you have to direct it at the Attorney General. So in this case, we are fortunate to have ministers of state who are assigned to the office of the president. So in that case, they can come and answer the questions. And that's what we've done. But they've sidestepped the issues. When it's time, when the question is advertised, they'll come and give some flimsy excuse that the person is not available and all that, until the fourth estate went to town on this matter. The rocks and the issues at the scholarship secretariat, it's Dr. Randy ABBEY, it's unbelievable.
Really?
It's also unbelievable. In fact, some of the people will tell you that I have been called that my application for, say, postgraduate studies to, say, University of Aberdeen or, say, Cambridge has been approved. I've been an amount of, let's say, £35,000 has been approved for me. But then the person will tell you that you know that you are entitled to £30,000. So you must come and pay the £5,000. People are actually asked to come and pay money.
But are these people who are telling you all these things willing to come forward?
Well,
are they willing to provide evidence?
No, if the inquiries, you see, what minority has raised the bar now, beyond merely asking filing parliamentary questions, they've increased the tempo. They are asking for an interdiction as well as an inquiry into the matter. So once they are asking for an interdiction, an inquiry is made, then we can urge these persons who are victims to come forward and speak.
They ask whether there is evidence.
No. He said that, are they willing to come forward and speak? You cannot, the parliament.
But this morning, if they interdict him, what would the police show for the interdiction? The press
allegations.
No.
On the basis of allegations,
the fact that
you shouldn't be in a position to interfere with the
the press. First of all, no.
Okay, the office.
Look at ACP.
You mean the interdict?
Look at the case of ACP Agojo.
No. So I was confusing the interdiction with the being processed.
No, it's not criminal prosecution. This is interdiction, administrative. Let me use Kufuor's language, step aside. Proceed or leave. Now, what the minority is asking is that there is a need for an inquiry, major inquiry to the matter because of the plethora of allegations. Why? The fourth estate is bringing some details that appears to pander towards the claim that the awards were largely made based on cronyism, favoritism, a conflict of interest and all. So if it's worthy to be looked into, then he must step aside for the inquiry to be made. In the course of the inquiry, he will come and speak to grounds upon which that he extended this or he approved of these applications for. And it's not the only scholarship secretary that grants scholarships. GetFund also does. GetFund hasn't got these problems. Why? Because the structures are properly.
I'm told that GetFund, they lately they focus mainly on domestic scholarships.
Yes.
I think in the past,
yes, they used to be both
yes.
domestic and foreign.
Yeah.
But so this is how we expect state institutions to be doing things. When you think that there's a major drain by funding foreign courses, which are largely run by local institutions, you switch. Nothing prevents you from taking the greater interest of the people into account. That now, if you want masters in law,
you see people do. Some of these MBAs and all that. And my point is that
MBA in entrepreneurship.
You see, my point is that if you want to do an MBA or an MA in a foreign institution, that's your choice. Why must the state pay for it? It's your choice. You understand me? I make choices for postgraduate certifications.
You did all here?
No.
Okay.
But I did not burden anybody with it.
Yeah.
It's my choice.
Yeah, You know, and Doc, this is also not the end.
I could have also used the connections.
Yes, in Auditor General's report for 2020-2021 is replete with people who, one, are given steady leave with pay, so they take their salary, they get state-funded scholarship, they go and study, and they refuse to come back.
I'm told about 100 and something.
Yes, they refuse to return to post.
And nothing happens.
And nothing is happening. So Chairman Aveji, during our last hearing in February, before we went on recess, directed that those persons be surcharged. They should first refund the salaries that they took, and two, refund the scholarships that the benefit, the amounts that they receive under the scholarship. In lieu of that, prosecution.
Abaji has all these powers.
Yes, as a committee.
He's a very big man.
Yes. That is why when you come and you will see that your irregularities are merely irregularities, we allow you to go. But when they are serious, we surcharge you.
But you know, look, when people are hustling for scholarships, and then you get a scholarship, the fee is paid in the UK. Then it turns out that you did not even go at all.
That's the next point I want to make. So aside from this scenario, the Auditor General also flagged another practice, which is that people get a scholarship, the monies are paid, they don't attend the school at all. Or they take the scholarship, they are able to take the scholarship by some dubious means. The money comes to them, they don't attend the school. And the auditors have flagged all this, and it's in the report. And we have given that directives. We are not getting a feedback. One took the scholarship, didn't attend the university, and exited that institution and joined another public institution in this country. Yes. Even salaries. So let's assume that Metro TV is a state
maybe at that
institution.
time you are not linked the Ghana card to.
You know, so it's a lot. The rot within the public sector is unbelievable, and it's all because there's nothing happening. There's a laissez-faire attitude by
those things are
supervisors.
deliberate. Those things are deliberate.
Oh no! Because you're also guilty. The person who's supposed to crack the whip is himself guilty. Is involved in greater crime. So he won't be chasing people who have engaged in smaller crimes.
All right. Well, we are here today. The party will take a decision on Yendi.
Yeah, I think I saw it on a WhatsApp.
Hey.
I don't know how true.
You see, what I was talking about people, whether they'll be willing to come forward and all that. I've started receiving messages. I'm just hoping that when there is any such probe, all these persons will be able to come up. There is somebody who's saying that he can confirm that there's rot and that he's personally paid 85,000 through somebody for his kid brother to ABBEY.
Good.
So when you pay through somebody, you can't tell whether it reaches the end.
Well, that is like the commitment fee.
Well, but at least it means that there is a certain racket.
Yes.
That is if it is true.
Yes.
My point is that
would you be willing to speak?
All such persons must be willing.
Yes.
Otherwise,
yes.
It will not
there
get
is
anywhere.
a journey to nowhere.
Yes.
You know. So 85,000 in terms of pounds, that's like 5,000 pounds.
It also depends on when the person paid the money.
Yes, but even if it's 15 to 1.
No, because there was a program, was it Samson's program? News 5.
Yes.
Where there was a gentleman who also spoke about this issue of extortion.
Yes, I just told you.
Students.
Yes, they actually send us information. So they tell you that your application is worth £30,000. But we have approved 35.
That's what the people claim.
Yes,
they are told.
So they tell you that we have approved £35,000. So you have to come and pay £5,000 and take the 35. And this complainant also pay. So they also arbiter. They also conspire to dupe the state.
But will they all be willing?
I agree with your question. That would they be willing to come forward and testify?
But I have some information here that between 2017 and 2021, the Scholarship Secretariat awarded 7,400 423 foreign scholarships.
7,423.
And 124,960 local scholarships. And
124,000.
Yes, local scholarships. And apparently, for all the scholarships, they have some procedures over there.
I have seen this data before. Please, those who put
So
this
come
data,
and answer, come
Yes,
and speak to this
those
in
who put
Parliament.
this data out, I beg them. They should try and put a value to the 7,400.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
and
all
put
we're
a
asking
value
for.
to the 124,000.
Yes.
All right.
And that's all we're asking for.
All right.
And just stop this 120 something 7,000.
I think
Because I've seen
Yeah.
this kind of data being put out there.
yeah.
Let them add the values. How much it costs, how much the 7,400 costs Ghana. As against the local 124,000, how much it costs Ghana.
Look,
And this is within 4 years. The data.
yeah, within
that's
4
Because
within
like
4
I've
years.
told you, some of these foreign programs, one of them can pay
as for,
Yes, yes.
as for that one, we are on the
so
same
sometimes
page.
this 7,120 something thing really
We're on the same
by
page.
itself it doesn't speak to the issues.
But Doc, let me encourage the opposition.
And out of the 7,000, so I will even be interested that this 7,000 and something, what kind of courses, which programs?
Yes.
Absolutely.
No,
Well, this
no, you
7,000
are right. So
something.
if you see,
Which programs?
if you see the kind of questions we filed, we want all these details. One other issue which hasn't come up is that the man travels nearly every week.
Well, if his job requires him to travel every week,
Why would he
I'm
travel?
saying I don't know.
Yes.
But
You
I'm
say
saying
he
that
travels-
if these are official trips,
They are not substantive.
They're substantive
no,
because
if
you see, we are informed
I'm
that
saying that if they are official trips.
it has a huge financial toll on the budget of
So you
Informed-
mean these are
informed by
official
who?
trips?
You are informed by who?
No, all I'm saying,
by our informants.
all I'm saying is that if they are official trips, I hope you understand. If they are official trips,
Yes.
and it can be justified that by the nature of his work, he needs to travel that much, so be it.
Doc, official administrative executive secretary of the scholarship secretary to
But-
where?
I'm just saying that as I sit here,
To where?
as I sit here, I'm ignorant about.
Even the president or the foreign minister doesn't travel every week.
But Doc, the way Ghanaians will benefit from
It's what is
this
important.
advocacy and
Yeah.
demand for transparency is not necessarily to jump and say, indict him, let him resign, prosecute him. It's to, again, give deliberate steps that we should take as a country to close that big gap which allows discretion to be at play. If we don't close this gap, and I'll say it on this show, in the next 5-10 years, if your guests come back, they will discuss these issues again. No
You
matter
see,
what's gonna
you see, because you raised an extremely important point, which is very, very important. Linked to this is the fact that we only go from bad to worse when bad is not punished and rectified. And therefore, it gives people the, how do they call it, the impunity to then do worse. So I agree with you. In the absence of, what, I agree with you 101%. But I'm just telling you that in addition to that, you see, you said that somebody told you that everything is by interest, which is very, very true. But then it looks like we've gotten to a place where, in addition to the interest, there is unbridled greed. There's unbridled greed.
Yeah.
And when this level of greed mixes with
Laced with politics.
interest,
Political interest.
then the level of toxicity,
Toxicity.
Especially when they're lazy, you also get political interest.
yes,
Political interest in an election year with a vibrant opposition. No, so I want English. Special greetings to the Honorable Minister for Roads, the current one.
Hey.
Asenso Boachi.
But you greeted him already. At the beginning of the program, didn't you say?
Let me end with
Enuga.
Let me. So special greetings to Honorable Asenso. The Vice President is going to work towards a 2,000 megawatt addition to our generation capacity. Solar.
It's going to work.
In the next 8 years, when it comes, 2,000 megawatts of solar going green.
But what has he been doing for the past 8 years?
But the past 8 years, you have to manage very well what you have before you
He said you want to know what he's been doing the last 7 years. Aplankenomics.
Doc, Doc, this is serious. 2,000 megawatts of solar, especially because of the greenness, will add to our energy mix. Then the final greetings goes to.
He will do.
Let me
When?
greet.
No.
Let me greet. The final greetings goes to the Chief of Staff of the Republic. Honorable.
Are you one of the supporters for running mate? You know they've composed a song for her.
I'm dealing strictly with the administrative and motherly functions she performs.
Okay.
She's my mother and my administrator, my boss.
A newspaper says that is the new finder.
Yes.
You know the paper, right?
Yes.
Okay. It says straight fight between Natoshi and Napo for running mate, stronghold or swing region.
Because my weight is small. These are 2 elephants.
Okay. And you are what?
So I'll pray that God will give Dr. Baumia wisdom so that he will find the right person.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Okay, Doc, let me reiterate the point made by the minority leadership that the executive secretary of the scholarship secretariat.
Why are you targeting the person?
He must be fired.
Why are you targeting him?
No, we are not targeting him. We are targeting a very corrupt and incompetent
Does the scholarship
public
secretary
officer.
not have a board?
Yes, but we are calling on the appointor, the president, to fire him as a matter of.
It sounds like you're
targeting
an individual.
You see, no, Doc. We are looking at the problems he's created, the sheer level of corruption exhibited during his tenure. All right, you heard about last year that students were not getting their stipends, that people were being withdrawn.
He didn't have the money to send.
But how come he's giving people $50,000 and all to go and read MA in entrepreneurship? So he's been so incompetent and very corrupt and greedy. So
no.
Oh, why?
This
I have information that he travels every week. Okay, I withdraw the grid.
Yeah, you are the lawyer.
Yeah, okay,
yes.
I withdraw the grid. But
not
I'm saying
the grid, but the corrupt.
Oh, but
it's not been substantiated.
But
there are allegations.
Yes,
but it's not been substantiated.
So why is it that
you don't make?
Why is it that my question, my parliamentary questions, he hasn't prepared the Minister of State to come?
No, but that does not make him corrupt. You know that.
If you are running away,
you know that.
No, if you are running away, no. If I filed by way of oversight, exercise of my power of oversight, if I have directed questions at your agency and you have failed and or refused to come and provide information, I am entitled.
You could be entitled on the floor of the house.
I am entitled.
No, maybe on the floor of the house.
I am entitled to say that you are corrupt. That's why I don't want to come and account.
No,
for your still watching.
See.
Okay, withdrawn.
Yeah,
withdrawn.
The speaker.
Withdrawn.
Okay. So all these explanations, if you have
withdrawn.
Why did you?
And I think that he should be fired.
Okay.
Yes, he should be fired as a matter of agency. An inquiry held into his stewardship between when he was appointed and now. Otherwise, students who have been given the scholarship.
Right? He wants
PC for Ibuakwasa.
Okay. Oh, PC for Ibuakwasa. That's Atachian's place.
Yes.
Oh, I see. We are waiting for him.
So you are talking to a future colleague.
We are waiting for him. If you're on the floor, we have power to direct questions at colleague members of parliament. That's the new standing order.
You are in opposition and look at the powers which you are talking.
Oko, you are in abeyance. Oko, you are in abeyance.
Be guided.
Be guided.
What can come?
Can come.
Oko, I can file another process.
That's what
I can file another process that will prevent you from.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana Live on Metro TV. Time to check out what is trending on social media. And one lady who's been trending with the African Prince just bumped into the studio.
Yeah. Last week too, I saw her happy.
Chopping love with
I saw how happy she was.
Star BIB.
Yeah. Okay. Hey.
That song, that was the song she said.
Baby.
That's a song.
Yeah, that's a song. By Ampon. Great Ampon.
Because she asked me to play for the husband, but when I heard the Star
B,
I wasn't too sure.
Oh.
If I knew it was a gospel song, I would have.
Oh, is that someone there? They asked for Star B blessings.
Well, if I knew, I would have played it. But I thought it was one of those secular things. So when I heard the Star B,
Star B.
My pastors and everybody.
They can.
Okay. I don't see us promoting anything.
Okay. No. Morning.
She will lead me into temptation. When the matters come, she will go and sit on social media and boo me Akutia too on top.
On that note, Doc.
Why?
There's a certain guy called Henry Fitz.
Oh.
So now the case is with the state.
Person to talk about.
The state says those three, they're being charged for
next story.
Blackmailing. Next story. The lesson in there is that. Okay. Next story.
You have like 7 stories.
So I should go to the next one. Doc, the next one. Since when?
Bridget says you should move on. So move on.
Yes, I've moved on. The next one, Doc. Since when the students start doing kidnapping to extort money from their parents?
From a long time.
Kidnapping?
Yes. This is not the first time I've heard about it. You're talking about the pre-sec one?
Yeah.
It's not the first time I've heard a story like that, yes.
Good morning, Mr. Danso. I only asked for book that wasn't.
But it comes in different forms. So that the children also look at the capacity of the parents. If you can't extort 20,000 from your father, how will you try?
But kidnapping on a different level. At least you say that they say we should buy a book.
Yeah.
And then
the things people have done, I say that those of us who went to school long before this social media. We should thank God.
Hey.
Otherwise, there are many people in public life and office today who won't be able to show their faces.
Crazy.
You know the things people have done?
Crazy. And kidnapping, I rush it, but anyway. Also, I heard the story. The police has been issuing a lot of statements, over the past few days, and that includes that of.
So that story, what was the? I saw in a flash. What was the story really? I saw 2 people whose face had been covered.
Yes.
Then they said there were juveniles involved. So
yes.
Their pictures and names didn't come
up.
But it was about some students.
So it says that the point 2 of the statement says that preliminary investigations revealed that one of the juveniles, in an attempt to extort money from his parents to enable him travel abroad, conspired with the others to stage a kidnapping incident. In the process, they demanded an amount of 340,000 cedis as ransom from the alleged victim's parents.
So the boy wanted to travel abroad?
Yes.
The kid?
Yes.
Why?
He's catching.
He didn't see any future in Ghana. I'm not saying anything to excuse or explain his...
I should think so.
Anyway.
I should think so. So it continues that further investigation disclosed that the juveniles, together with 2 others, succeeded in collecting an amount of 20,000 cedis of the total ransom demanded.
I see.
So 340,000, the 34,000 or the 340,000 cedis, they got 20,000. And we're continuing that.
Maybe the boy had an exaggerated view of the resources of his parents.
340,000 is a lot of money.
So he needed 340,000 to travel abroad. Is he okay?
This is we do.
Is he okay?
Anyway, so that's
340,000 Ghana cedis.
Yes, 340,000. That's what states here. Has been stated here. I was able to get 20,000.
Hey, I see.
You know what I mean? Can't wait. I know you.
Yeah.
That's why they don't be small. There's a gangster level. Anyway, still on the police. Some blind man being no force. Fake blind man. Okay. So there was a crusade around Anyaka Kaswa area. Look. Pentecostal. And this man went there claiming that he's been healed. So that he will get some good stuff from the congregation. Now, the statement released by the police says that the man has never been blind.
No, so when you go to a crusade and you are healed,
yes,
do people give you money?
Oh, say no, he made a story up that he didn't have a place to stay and all of those things. And let's listen to what he said at the crusade.
Okay.
22 years. Hey, but me and Kasam no Kasem 67 years.
My God.
Oh. Now, obey minimum.
Yes, no, but
my bed, my stradia check, Messi and me. The one of the catcher and answer there be. Messim there be a many hats. Messim there be a many hats in the pass. Don't be some Cordia, sorry, names the property.
Jesus. Hey!
The balance of the Mayano, Yanis get better than it, you know. Or my packy, no man will be bar. Some guys there be a TB, I'm a pastor, and we come out to my son across for a minute. You see, you will feel an idea about your very shy. Tia Badam say, I must share no man, never say on the I must say, my ass on the wire. Tia Bacrampuna or Barnacross or Phenomenon, they're going to they be a me bar on Yamia Domenia Alsa. You, Papa, my baha, oh, Mesa, many, my baha in Gusua Mesa. I have market and also the Sana Damini. And Ogusoni me bomb pie, and most of many Shishim Semuku. Oh, Guso Shishim, who say, Dark no, me who idea what dark, if I have black.
Glory to Jesus.
Remember, my lad bony. Remember, 4. And Mamma and Sababa, but Obana. And I remember so, and I'm many into on Swaka baby. On the Papa and Auntie Acolena. I'm 7 and I'm about Pumsis here.
That situation, I say, as we have a station about for. It's a preaching there by an Ayawadia. It's when you be Yamen Spamaya Pedayama. They are baby Kama, we know the atom. Nama Bravo, no Assange. I've been my Naya and Science, Yan Danyamiasi. We give you the glory. We give you the glory. Not unto us. Not unto us.
Nah, this one is a grand. The guy they lie. That's a blind beggar.
The town had.
Hey, ready? Everybody they use always a means.
But the guy has a talent, eh? He has a talent that, I mean, I'm not saying the police shouldn't do their work, but he has a talent that could be utilized, especially by Kumawood. He's such a good storyteller.
Yeah,
no, I'm telling you.
The way he said the story.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he can really develop a lot of, you know.
Yeah, they can get into bring up scripts and all that.
Yeah.
And right now, Doc, I'm just imagining how the church is feeling about this.
Oh, but the church hasn't done anything wrong. Yeah, but I mean, the church, you see, first of all, it's not a claim that was made by the church. The church didn't recruit him. You understand?
Yes.
Yeah, so as for the church, and the church hasn't done anything.
So, the hidden power, no?
No.
On that note,
see, the Church of Pentecost is a reputable church.
Yes, that's
and that's why I said it's very important to make it clear that the church played no role.
No role in that.
Yeah, he rather tried to scam the church and its members.
Yes.
And
the police have grabbed him. Doc, this is the way the laws. The police say.
When you said it, what was the question that I asked you? I said, have you seen any of those people who are making those claims? Have you seen evidence of the thing having?
I've not seen it.
That's what the question I asked you.
Yes.
And I told you that this thing many years ago, about 30 years ago.
In his car.
Yeah, it used to happen. So the guy has touched me and all the thing. And the people, they lynch people.
Yeah, true.
The people who died.
There was a guy named Shaiman, he's an evangelist. He posted on Facebook that he was going somewhere and just one man started shouting that, and then they started beating him.
Yeah.
And fortunately, some people recognize him that, he's not a person, he's not like that. And some of Mujan can say, on that note,
I have a story about winter in Minnesota. One day I'll tell you that story off TV.
That's a lie though. Winter in Minnesota. On that note, Doc, today is the birthday of our social media guy, Prince.
So who will post him? Who will also write? Who will also make a post?
So that is Prince in your shorts.
So for you guys, when you see all those things that are written there, all those things that are published on Facebook, that's the guy.
Yeah. Atia man.
So who will do it for him today?
Today we'll look for somebody to post him. So that's Prince. Repping Tamama. Straight guy. He's a great guy. Just our phone pa.
Hey.
Oh yeah, Titi Kakranka.
Obia Fonsin. And you from when? I mean, since you returned from Kumasi, your cheeks and everything. I mean, Manuela has done a great job. You know that.
On that note, happy birthday to you, Prince. And then, Doc, yesterday was Kiki's birthday.
Hey,
yes, Adaeta. Yesterday, you see, it's only slim people's birthday. Cause
so what happened yesterday?
Kiki, what did you do? That's it. Adaeta, Kiki. Happy belated one to you.
Kiki and Prince.
Yes.
I mean, who's Tina?
Prince on phone. No, but Kiki too phone. Prince. No, be like that for do battle. If they take off their shirts, you know who has phone.
But they both have 6 packs. Not as a result of exercise.
Okay, yeah, it's called Hunger Games. I'm sorry.
You know, bald people are God is my baba.
God is my baba.
These people are God is my 6 pack.
Happy birthday to you, Kiki and Prince. Great guys. Like amazing gentlemen.
Yeah, yesterday was the birthday of a friend of mine. You should know him. You know, next time you're going to Kumasi, tell me and I'll let you go and see him. He's the regional engineer. Yes.
I like this one.
He's the regional engineer.
Okay.
It's called Engineer Atapuku.
Engineer Atapuku. Atapuku morning.
He's okay. Have you ever heard of Okumkom?
What's that?
Yes. The Honorable Kwesi Ajima. He's the mayor of Kumasi. Okay, that's his son. His young son.
Yeah.
But he's the whole Ashanti region. Yeah, he's the engineer. I'm sure you've seen him several times at Menchia. Dancing.
Okay. Oh, Menchia, they said open so because I went to the radio station a couple of months ago. Do some
so the next time I'm going to Kumasi, you tell me. I'll let you go and sing. He's a showman. So
okay. I like the last one.
He's a showman.
Showman to be there.
Where I'm going, go with Emmanuela.
That's it for the show.
Yes.
My name is Desi Star White.
Okay.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Hey! Up next, Metro Sports.